we've got sneaky, huge news in the NBA from Memphis. The Grizzlies trading Desmond Bane to the Magic for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Cole Anthony and 4 unprotected first-round picks, which begs the question from the Windman, who had his fingers up in the air. What is the biggest question, Windy, coming out of this deal?
What does this mean for the Grizzlies? This is now what is being asked in the league, because this is a rebuild trade. The next question is, what about Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr.? If I was at the Grizzlies press conference, this is the number one question I would be asking. I'd be asking, do you intend to extend Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., both of whom are extension eligible this summer? Are you going to try to, is that what you're doing now, or are you pivoting the franchise?
Pivoting the franchise would mean trading Ja Morant and trading Jaren Jackson, and these are excellent players. So I know what you're saying. You're saying, Greeny, Desmond Bane traded to Orlando. Okay, I'm interested. All of a sudden, now we're talking about these two stars in Memphis. Now I'm leaning forward in my chair. Let's talk about Ja Morant. Should the Grizzlies trade him this offseason?
If I were Zach Kleiman in Memphis, I would highly, highly, highly consider it. I would consider it, number one, I saw Desmond Bane get traded for 5 first-round picks. I wonder what the value for Ja Morant could be. Number two, availability is a skill. He's missed 126 games in 3 seasons, injuries, suspensions, off-the-court issues. Okay, like the best way to build a culture is not based upon unpredictability. And also, like, I really see him matured. Like, it's something that is kind of concerning for him over his time period there. Making off-the-court decisions, gun issues, regardless of whether you think he's right or wrong with the gestures, these are problems, and I think his value is still high. He is box office. I think there are franchises out there that will give up a boatload of assets for Ja Morant. Well, so you have to consider it.
It's an interesting point, because all the issues, the concerns you're raising, I assume other teams have as well. So are they going to give up the boatload that you're talking? That to me is the question. I don't know the answer. I'm not pushing back. I agree with literally every word you just said.
Yeah, see, to me, I think you're almost selling low right now. Like that's something that you might want to get him into the season and have him playing at a high level, and then reconsider around the trade deadline, where all of a sudden you'll see teams maybe want to make that bigger jump because of everything you just said. There's too much of the more recent baggage and injury issues than there is that guy. Remember a couple of years ago when they were top seed in the West, and he was one of the best players in the league, and we were talking about him being a face of the league. If there's a player on the Grizzlies roster that I'm now watching, that I'm saying, wait a second, if you're going to make a reset with this roster, and this is a guy that's due a contract that you're going to have to talk to, it's Jaren Jackson Jr., because that's a piece that a team like the Golden State Warriors, that a team like the Los Angeles Lakers could look at and say, we get that guy, we can win a championship, and they'd be right. So there's very few players in the league where you would say, whatever it costs, I want that guy. He's one right now, a defensive player of the year type candidate, a guy's averaging over 20 a game, shoots threes at a high level, blocks shots at a high level. That's a guy that could take teams like those two that are trying to get one more ring for these old veteran players, and you can win a chip now.
I would not trade him. I would keep JJ.
They got to pay him. Remember, they got to pay him.
I understand. I would pay him.
How do you know he wants to stay? He might say, I want to test the market. He's got 1 year left.
But I'm saying, like, I don't really care what you want to do.
If they trade away Desmond Bane and they trade away Ja Morant, now all of a sudden you're Jaren Jackson Jr.
Get me out of here.
You want to be part of that rebuild. I mean, you're either in it or you're either rebuilding or you're not. I mean, that's what
I can rebuild around you if I have all those assets, yeah.
But I'm 27. I can go into free agency, and I know I'm going to have teams coming after me. I don't know if I want to sit around.
I still know like teams like
the
Lakers have the assets to give me what I would want for Jaren Jackson at this stage. He's in the prime of his career.
It's going to be hard.
Right? Like, it's going to be really hard for the Lakers.
That's fair, but putting him, I'm just envisioning him right now on
Perfect
the floor with LeBron and Luka.
That's fair, but I don't really care what you want to do, JJ. I don't care what you want to do.
I understand.
We need to get back a little bit to more of these NFL ways that are happening where owners are the ones saying this is what we're going to do. It's not about what you dictate we do.
I get it, and I don't like it when you call me JJ.
Yeah,
okay,
no.
So, JB, it's a complicated thing. You're an active head coach, so I'm not going to ask you to comment on trades and all that sort of thing, but here's what I would say. And Alan sort of pointed it out. There was a moment in time when it felt like Ja Morant might be on the verge of becoming the biggest star in the league. We keep talking about who's the next face of the league going to be. 2-3 years ago, we thought it was going to be him. Just as a player, give me the scouting report. If you're playing them tonight, what are you telling your players about Ja Morant?
Just how dynamic he is and how he can carry the load. The most important thing when you're building a team is you got to find the guy. right? And Ja Morant has proven to be the guy. It was 3 weeks ago in the season, and in a tough Western Conference, the Grizzlies were still the 4th seed at that time. So he has the ability to carry basketball teams. When you start rebuilding, you're at the behest of the NBA, the draft, the lottery, free agency, all those things. Memphis, especially, is a place that doesn't attract a lot of free agents, so you have to draft well. They drafted well in Ja Morant and JJ. Like, those are the guys you got to keep and try to build around if I'm looking at it from the outside looking in.
Okay, fascinating little scenario there. That's what we called it. Sneaky, huge news where the Suns are lining up trade partners for KD. It seems clear that man's going to get traded in the next month or so here. The question is where? He has a list. The Heat, the Spurs, and the Rockets are Kevin Durant's preferred destinations. But the Suns have made it clear they will make the best deal for their franchise, even if it means trading Durant to a team outside his preferred list. So, right back we come here. You've already talked. Now, you've told JJ exactly what you're going to do with him. What are you going to do with KD?
Well, I don't negotiate from sentiment. I negotiate from leverage, right? And I don't allow a player to dictate where he wants to go. Now, I know that he could sign a 2-year extension, but I want to get the best return on investment, and I need assets in return if I'm the Phoenix Suns. So I appreciate the list from Kevin Durant, but I'm going to take that list to the market, and I'm going to see what the market gives me the best return for Kevin Durant. Now, look, you might have teams out there that might do a 1-year deal. I think it's realistic to talk about doing a 1-year deal with Kevin Durant. You're not sure what his buy-in is on year 2, year 3. I know he wants that $100+ million extension, but maybe there's a team out there that wants him for $50+ million for 1 year because it increases their odds of winning a championship.
Give me the team, Alan.
Minnesota Timberwolves. First of all, he and Anthony Edwards would be a box office duo together. In the West, you're going to need that kind of firepower. We see how close the Timberwolves have gotten. They've been a Final Four team these last 2 years. They need another finisher. And you have pieces that you could trade to Phoenix, that Phoenix could say, oh, I kind of like this. They have plenty of pieces, and one of them would be a swap. They have to pay Julius Randle. Julius Randle's proven to you that he can be an all-star player, an all-NBA player, and he could be a lead dog. You're going to need that in Phoenix. We've heard that Phoenix is not looking to completely reset. They want to be competitive. You're essentially getting a younger all-star for an older all-star. It makes sense for both levels. That also for the NBA would be a fantastic story to watch.
Not knowing exactly what would be involved in the trade, I will continue saying the New York Knicks should be doing everything in their power to figure out a way to bring Kevin Durant. The New York Knicks, as currently constituted, and we're going to go into what Magic said about them and stuff like that as we continue, I do not believe they are a championship team. I think depending on what it is that you have to give up, adding Kevin Durant absolutely changes.
Well, there's one player that kind of is a quiet, more demure player, but, I mean, Devin Booker has a great relationship with Karl Anthony Towns. So if Devin Booker wants Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker has to state what he wants.
Wow. You talking about Devin Booker in New York?
No, he's talking about trading Karl Anthony Towns for Kevin Durant. That's what he's talking about.
I thought you were telling the other way.
No.
JB was like, oh God, please don't let that
happen. No.
But no, yeah. You could do that trade.
Phoenix,
you could do, and then
Karl Anthony Towns for Kevin Durant.
You could do that because what happens is you have Mitchell Robinson at center, and you can put KD at the 4. You'd have 2 great scores, all that stuff. But you're also now taking away the continuity. You already got to get a new coach. Now you're going to change up a starting 5 once again as you're trying to be in a championship window. So there's a risk there, but I'm with you. I also look at things as box office as well. What will sell big? What would be huge? That is a gigantic story, having a megastar like KD playing at the Garden. I just don't think right now that's on the front burner for this Knicks team.
The Knicks have been trying to get a megastar going back to LeBron's decision, right?
Yeah.
For 15 years.
But not a 37-year-old.
They fell into one. No, I get it. But, I mean, they sort of created one in Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
If you put him on that level with the megastars of the league. They could finally get their guy. And even though he's 37, I come back to the coach in the scouting report, what is Kevin Durant now? When you're preparing your team, we're playing KD tonight, what is he now?
He's one of the most efficient scorers in the league. He's a guy who you don't have to run a lot of plays for, who can still score at a high clip, and you always have to know where he is, and you have to put multiple bodies and multiple eyes on him. He kind of reminds me at this point, if you guys remember Carmelo Anthony when he played for the USA team, right?
Olympics Melo.
He would play 19 minutes and he'd score 35 points, right? Like, KD has the ability to do that, and he demands that type of respect. And the best thing about him is he can fit and play with anybody because he is so efficient, and he doesn't have to be ball dominant, and the plays don't have to always run through him.
But JB, I would say continuity and who he was coached by would matter, because one of the areas he loved with Golden State was that the ball didn't stick to anybody in particular. And also, I would say chemistry and personality traits matter. Who are you matching him up with? That's why I always go back to Anthony Edwards. It's like, here's a young dog that KD would know would be the guy. KD could be the closer, but I don't want to put KD in a situation right now where he has to be the guy the entire year, and we're going to build a culture around Kevin Durant. He's coming in to be a mercenary.
Pretty interesting stuff, and we've got Game 5 of the finals tonight tied up at 2, so the basketball is good. We'll be all over it all morning long.